Okay, let me get my laptop.
Too late. Too late. Hey everyone, it's Theo from Spectrum Gardening. And today I'm with my daughter Mar. Would you like to say hello?
Hi.
And we're going to be talking about getting the garden ready for winter. And what do we do in the garden during the winter?
I might have forgot.
You forgot? Do we grow anything?
No, I don't think
No,
so.
we don't. We don't really grow much. Even our mild climate in the Fraser Valley, even though we could overwinter a lot of things in the garden like carrots, broccoli, some kale, things like that. Honestly, we're pretty lazy when it comes to gardening in the winter. We kind of get burnt out during the spring and the summer. But we take advantage of the fall and the winter to amend our garden beds. And the way that we amend them is by putting manure on them. And we put down a thick layer of manure so it helps protect our soil in our garden beds over winter.
Well, are you also going to put that in?
No.
Yes, you should. You need to. Put it in.
So, we are pretty lazy when it comes to growing in the winter.
Now you have to.
There are some plants that will actually leave and just let the frost kind of kill back and they'll naturally decompose in the place. Kind of like these beans over here. These beans are pretty much done for the year. They're not going to grow anymore. They're not really going to produce, but I'm not going to rip them out for a few different reasons. One of the reasons is I know the frost is just going to come by and kill them afterwards. And all this organic matter, all these leaves on these beans is going to just naturally decompose in place. And what I'm basically going to be doing is I'm going to be taking manure and I'm basically going to be putting them right on top of the beans, and everything's just going to decompose over fall, winter, and spring. Another reason I'll be leaving them in place is because I don't want to pull them out. Because if I pull them out, I'll be breaking up the soil's ecosystem, which has been building up over the course of summer. Are you having fun?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Fidgeting.
You're fidgeting?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want a tomato to eat.
We don't have any tomatoes out here. I took them all out.
Let's get one from the house.
We can get one in the house from the house afterwards.
I think I should eat a tomato on camera.
One type of plant I always remove from my garden beds, however, is tomatoes. Because we can get such an issue with disease here with tomatoes, of blight. But I'm not ripping out the whole plant of the tomatoes. I'm going to the top of the soil and I'm just cutting it off the very top. Because if you check out the root structure of the tomato, this is a tomato root. And despite having a really bad growing season this year, what are you doing?
I don't know, I'm fidgeting.
Okay. Despite having a very bad growing season this year, if I'm pulling out all my tomatoes like this, it's going to disturb the soil. And the thing is, if I leave this underneath the soil, this whole root structure is going to decompose over the fall, winter, and spring. And I'll just be left with like basically a brown stick at the end of it. So this is going to give me more food for my microorganisms and my worms inside the soil. And plus, it's a lot less work versus pulling out all my plants, including my root system. I just go around and you can go get something, yeah? I just go around and I cut the tops of the plants off. Any plants that might have disease with them. My pepper plants in the greenhouse though, I'll be showing you those in a moment. I'll actually be leaving those all winter just to kind of let them naturally die back. I'm not going to be worried so much about the pepper diseases as I would be about the tomato diseases. It's just recently that our temperatures here have started to dip below 8 and 7 degrees Celsius overnight. But you can see even our basil in the greenhouse is still looking nice and green and lush. What are you snacking on?
Peppers.
Peppers, what kind of peppers?
This is a shishito and this is a sweet pepper.
Yep, that is. Is the shishito spicy?
Kind of.
Kind of? Just don't eat the seeds, okay? So in the next couple days, what we're going to be doing, and we're going to be coming to the greenhouse and picking all our peppers. And then we're going to be ripening them at home. The plants, if I have energy and if I have time, I will cut them at the top of the soil just to make it a little bit easier for when I dump the manure on top of it. But if I don't have energy and I don't have time, I'm lazy. I'm just going to put manure straight along the plants, around the plants, and just let everything and just And just let everything just naturally decompose over winter. I'm gonna make you pick that. I'm gonna make you pick that pepper up afterwards. This is a hot pepper, so I'm gonna throw you in there head first. Huh?
Theodore the lazy.
What do you think about that?
Theodore the lazy.
Yeah. Earlier I was talking about how we use manure to mulch our garden beds over winter. The reason that we apply it during the winter is because we typically go directly to farmers and we source our manure straight from them. So it can be hot, it cannot be fully composted, but it typically needs time to break down. So you can mulch your garden beds with pretty much anything you'd like. You can use hazelnut shells, you can use bark mulch like wood chips, you can use sawdust, you can use manure like what we do. But the big thing is to protect your soil over winter and to amend it as you go. So the manure that we're trying out this year, it's from a new farmer that I contacted recently. And the manure that I got from him is a mix of moo poo. If you've been watching my videos, you know how much I talk about moo poo and what we use it for. Moo poo is separated dairy manure. It has the water and the nitrogen removed from it. So it's a mix of moo poo, it's a mix of wood shavings, and it's a mix of corn silage, and it's also a mix of hay, straw as well. So like there'll be some pieces like this, and this will be like moo poo there. It's kind of compacted, and it's like what we expect to find in moo poo. And then there's gonna be mixes of this, which is like their leftover feed and everything like that. Are you having fun?
Very much fun.
Very much so?
A lot of fun.
Very much so?
Very much so.
Very much so.
Very much so.
And then there are other parts. Boo!
Boo.
And then there's other parts like this, which are gonna break down a lot faster. So what I'm doing right now is I'm topping up my garden beds. Peekaboo to you too. I'm topping up my garden beds quite a bit because I know over winter it's gonna break down. Right now I'm applying it as a thick layer to my garden beds. So, because I know. What?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
All this giggling and laughing and all this peekabooing. And do you have anything to say?
No.
No, you don't have anything to say?
Nothing to say.
No, nothing to say? But yeah, you're dancing around all around me, behind me?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, you go on.
Okay.
And,
I had a carrot.
and I will... You pulled out a carrot? That's okay.
Should I pull them out now?
No, don't pull out the carrots now. They need to grow. We're going to overwinter them.
Oh, okay.
And if there's any extra, I'll take the extra and I'll apply it to my compost pile, which I'll be starting this fall as well. So you can see how much my soil has dropped over the course of the summer. What I'm doing right now is I'm topping up all my beds with manure, but I'm not tilling it in. I'm not working into the soil at all. I'm just basically going to be leaving it like this over winter. And what I'll be doing either today or tomorrow, I'll be taking more manure and I'll be top dressing my rows of carrots with it. I'll be kind of adding it along. I don't want to be burying my carrots because I want to be overwintering them. Nice little fact about carrots is after the first frost that the sugars in the carrot will actually spike. So the carrots will be sweeter than even the summer carrots. Are you eating even the carrot greens?
Yes.
Yeah? Are they good?
Mm-hmm.
What do they taste like? Carrot greens? Are they spicy? No? Do they taste like celery? A little bit? Can I have some?
That's not some, that's all of it.
That's good.
Yeah, we should make a salad.
They do kind of taste like celery and carrot combined. Oh, and by the way, you can make pesto out of carrot tops too.
I want to make
Yeah, I don't think we have enough carrot tops to make pesto with.
pasta with a carrot topping.
Yeah. So and it comes spring, when this manure or mulch or whatever you're putting on your garden bed, don't throw away the carrot tops. Eat them or give them to me. or whatever you put on your garden beds is decomposed, you just want to gently rake it in. You don't want to be tilling your soil too much, because the more you till it, the more you're going to break up the ecosystem that's being built up. One thing I will say though is,
tastes like dirt.
yeah, nice and dirty. Good thing there's not any manure there, or it tastes like poo. there's no manure right there right now, so you're okay. One thing that I'll always do with my garden though, before I apply my manure, is I'll go to my weeds, and I'll make sure I thoroughly weed the garden bed before I put the garden fully to sleep during the winter. The reason for that is because the weeds, they can overwinter in the garden, and they'll come back even stronger in the spring. Admittedly, Mar knows how lazy I am, right?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Very lazy.
I don't like to weed.
Theodore the lazy.
I don't like to.
Theodore the lazy.
I don't like to weed my garden at all. Admittedly, I only weed it once in the spring and once in the fall. And I just do a very good weeding. I do very thorough, and I'm not picking at it every day during the summer. And then I also do intensive interplanting, and I do mulching with manure over the winter. So, I pretty much put this garden bed to sleep for this year. I've applied the manure throughout it. I carefully put it around the plants I'll be overwintering, and I also installed a cold frame. This will be kind of an experiment to see if I can actually carry through some of these plants through the spring and actually harvest off them. I have little to no hopes to this broccoli, which is exposed right now. I know if we get a really hard frost, that's gonna die back. Especially if we had a winter like last winter where we had about 4 feet of snow here. But I have another one of these cold frames, and to be honest, I never actually utilized them for my veggies before. I was just using them for my seedlings. So this will be the first year I'll actually be putting them in the garden beds. This is one I'll be putting here, and I'll probably be putting in the other one on another one of my garden beds just to kind of see and experiment over there. So you can see how lazily I put everything in. This is pretty much how we do it every year. I just kind of plop the manure down, and I kind of say, okay, I'm done for the year, and I'll come back and I'll rake it a little bit in the spring. I'd love to hear how you prepare your garden beds for the winter.
Me too.
Yeah, you too?
Yeah.
Do you grow veggies in them? Do you leave them empty, or do you kind of put manure or leaves or wood chips on them, kind of similar to what we do? Throw them down in the section down below, and I'd love to kind of hear from that.
Yeah.
And if you like this video, make sure to give us a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And of course, hit that subscribe button down below,
Of course.
not to miss any of our new content.
It's also free.
And thanks for watching.
Bye.